All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Super here, and welcome to another MK1 video. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit about my likes and dislikes of Mortal Kombat 1 because if you guys don't know, the definitive edition, meaning the final edition of Mortal Kombat 1 was released a few days ago. It completely shocked me, and it shocked every other Mortal Kombat fan because it was not promoted. It was just released just like that. So it shocked me because this pretty much marks the end of Mortal Kombat 1. So just very quickly before I go over my likes and dislikes, of course, leave a thumbs up on the video. It's always appreciated. But there's definitely a positive to this, even though it is a negative thing, because a lot of you guys that watch my videos love Mortal Kombat 1, similar to myself. But the only positive thing is that now we don't have to like sort of wonder for months and months, right? Because if you guys remember for MK11, there was like a 6 month period, 6 to 8 month period when, you know, the pandemic was going on, all that stuff, that we didn't know if there was actually going to be a Combat Pack 3 or if they were going to move on to the next game. So they didn't announce anything until they tweeted something out finally about 8 months later. So we were like waiting, and we were in the unknown for about 8 months. So I'm glad at least we know now that with this definitive edition, it's pretty much the end of the support for Mortal Kombat 1 as far as like new DLC characters. It's the only silver lining in this whole situation, but it's definitely sad because I personally wanted more DLC content because I love the gameplay of this game. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be talking about here. Someone in the comments suggested that I do my biggest likes and dislikes of the game now that it's pretty much officially the life cycle of this game is over. So that's what I'm going to talk about here. Of course, share your thoughts in the comments. What are your biggest likes? What are your biggest dislikes of the game? Some people are just going to have likes. Some people are just going to have dislikes. That's just how it goes. You can't please everybody. So I'm going to talk about a like and a dislike. So I'll go like, dislike, like, dislike. I'm going to talk about my two biggest likes and my biggest like and my biggest dislike of this game. So my biggest like of this game since the beginning is gameplay. I absolutely love the gameplay of MK1. I think it's a good balance between the dashing and just the walking speed of a game like Mortal Kombat 11, MK9. Obviously, it doesn't have the fast dashing like it does in MK9, but I feel like the dashing is really good for the most part. For most characters, the walk speed is really good for most characters. It's kind of hard to find a character that has bad movement. I think the only character that actually has bad movement is like Noob Saibot. He's pretty bad with the movement. But for the most part, you can move across the screen very fast. The combo potential of this game, bringing back air combos. I think the only thing that would have made this game better if it had neutral jump punches, because then you add neutral jump punches and air combos, it would have made things even crazier. But right from the beginning, I knew I was going to love this game gameplay wise because I was so combo starved in Mortal Kombat 11. You guys know that was my biggest complaint about the game, because there was very, very limited combos. And they specifically designed MK11 to go back to like Mortal Kombat 2 style. You know, do your 5 to 6 hits that do like 35% damage, and that's your combo right there. And to be honest, there are a lot of people who like that structure where they don't have to do 20, 30 hit combos, you know, to get crazy damage. But personally, myself, I love the execution. I love the way it looks. And of course, I love entertaining people. And what's more entertaining than hitting like crazy ass, 60% damage, 40 hit combos, like the Scorpion Madden Bow combos, so entertaining to watch, so entertaining to actually perform. So my biggest like in the lifespan of Mortal Kombat 1 has been the gameplay. The gameplay. I think Mortal Kombat 1 has my favorite gameplay in any Mortal Kombat game after Mortal Kombat X. Now, keep in mind, I didn't really play MK9, so I'm sure MK9 has, I know MK9 has a lot of combos, but I didn't really play that game as much. So, gameplay-wise, for me personally, MK1 is right beneath MKX as the most fun gameplay that I've played. All right, so my biggest dislike about MK1 was the story mode and invasion. I think this is probably the biggest dislike for everybody because the story mode had some potential. Don't get me wrong. There was parts of it that I liked, but it's very forgettable. It means absolutely nothing. Everything that happens in the story mode pretty much means absolutely nothing. And then you incorporate Chaos Reigns, which leaves at a big question mark. Like, you don't even know what happened to the character who they based the entire Chaos Reigns after, right? You beat Havoc, but then you never find out what happens to him. I started a joke, at the end of my playthrough, hashtag where's Havoc, because like they don't explain what happens to Havoc. Like they defeat him, but they don't permanently defeat him. They don't like kill him. You just don't know. So the story mode leaves with a big question mark. And based on insider information, there was plans of a second expansion for the story mode. So, maybe they would have concluded the story mode in a better way if they had a chance to actually do a second part of the Chaos Reigns, like a second story mode expansion, which really sucks that they didn't get that chance to close out the game the way they wanted to. But to be honest, just in general, the story mode of MK1 is just all jumbled. I think there was unnecessary changes. I respect them trying to change things up, to keep things fresh because Mortal Kombat has been around for 30 years. But at the same time, that fan base that has been around for 30 years loves their characters, right? So then they start changing things with Scorpion, Sub-Zero. They start changing things with Sector and Cyrax. I don't know, man. There was definitely unnecessary changes in the story mode that I think pissed a lot of people off, sort of left a bad taste in people's mouths. So I think next time they'll I think Mortal Kombat 1 will be a huge learning experience for NetherRealm moving forward, because I feel like this game had so much potential, but it was just completely unrealized by bad decisions, and I think a rushed product because of the pressure from Warner Brothers. I really truly believe that this game was not supposed to. First of all, I don't think it was supposed to be Mortal Kombat. I think it was supposed to be Injustice 3, just based on like the play style and everything. I just feel like it was supposed to be Injustice 3, and then bad sales for other games caused WB to panic and have NetherRealm change their plans to make this an Injustice game to a Mortal Kombat game. So that's personally what I think, but just in general, this game was very incomplete. So I really hope that a lesson is learned with the situation and it doesn't happen again. But the story mode was one of like the story mode was the biggest complaint I think that myself and a lot of people had. Is I don't even remember what the hell happens in the story mode, to be honest. And I played it like twice, because I played it once when it came out, once when Chaos Reigns was going to come out. So 2 times. And then Invasions is just like, man, what a lazy concept to do for the big like side or the big extra single player content, right? You have an amazingly designed crypt in MK11. I went through the crypt in a video like not too long ago, like a few months ago. Man, it's so cleverly designed for the Mortal Kombat fan. They have so many Easter eggs. They even have Easter eggs for the Mortal Kombat movie, where they have like the dining area of Kano and Goro when Kano's eating the giant turkey leg. There's so many Easter eggs. You're like, man, I wonder what they're gonna do with the next game with the crypt. Like they killed it in MK11, and then they come out with Invasions, which is just pretty much you're just like moving from square to square. There's no open world. You're moving from square to square, and all it is just a fight. You're just moving from you're like a piece of you're like a, I don't know, a Monopoly piece, just moving from square to square on a game board, and then you encounter a fight, you fight them, And you might make a key here to open a secret door, and then that's it. There's no like, there's all it is fighting. You're just fighting the AI. You could do that in if you want to play the Towers of Time, you could do that, right? Towers of Time are more interesting because Towers of Time, you actually have like challenges. You know, you have like little creatures walking around. It's a little bit more fun. But yeah, Invasions was like a disaster. It was just a disaster, guys. I think we could all agree that story mode and Invasion are like the biggest misses for NetherRealm. Some people might say cameos, but I personally love cameos. I'm gonna be talking about that in a bit. All right, so moving on to another like. I feel another like is the roster. This roster is ridiculous. Come on, like, you're gonna tell me that a roster is bad when it has all the ninjas, almost all the robots. It has the Deadly Alliance. It has Shao Kahn, General Shao, whatever. It has guest characters that are really fun to play. Very unexpected too, but they're fun to play. Conan, T-1000, Ghostface, super unexpected. Well, Conan and T-1000 were unexpected for me to be like really fun to play. I had no interest in them, but somehow they made those characters some of the most fun in the game. Ghostface finally makes it into a Mortal Kombat game. I felt like he would have been sick in MK11, MKX. It doesn't matter which one. He would have been sick regardless. But you have Kitana, Melina, Tanya, Sindel. The only thing that I would say, you know, some of the classics, right? You don't have Sonya, you don't have Jax, you don't have Kano. Some of these like classic characters that I personally don't really care about, but some people might downgrade the roster because, you know, they love those specific characters. But for me, they literally have all the ninjas and they have pretty much all the robots. That in itself, for me, makes this roster one of the GOATs. This roster right here is definitely one of the greatest of all time. It might actually be the best roster of all time for me personally. This is just my thinking, all right? If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. But for me, like, what roster is better than this? Because this roster has pretty much the same characters that Mortal Kombat 9 has, excluding maybe like 5. Plus, it has more DLC characters, more guest characters. For Mortal Kombat X, you know, obviously you have like amazing guest characters, but the roster overall, I think, is better in Mortal Kombat 1. So the roster is ridiculous. Mortal Kombat 1 might have the best roster of all time. Obviously, you can't include Mortal Kombat Armageddon, because Mortal Kombat Armageddon literally has like 60 characters. It literally has every character. Other than that, I think Mortal Kombat 1 probably has the best roster of all time. All right, so a dislike. This is one of my dislikes. There's no fucking rooms. There's still no rooms. It's almost 2 years. 2 years into the lifespan of this game, and there are no rooms. There are no rooms, and there's no online queue up in practice mode. What that means is that, you know, in most fighting games nowadays, you could be in training mode. You could have a setting in training mode that says search for ranked match, search for player match in the settings in training mode. So you could actually be training while looking for a match. And then when the match finishes, it puts you back into your training mode settings. So you could keep on training, practicing combos while you're queued up for a match. That's like standard nowadays. Like, this blows my mind that it's not a thing in Mortal Kombat 1. And also, there's no rooms in Mortal Kombat 1. There's literally rooms in the 3D era games. Back when like Xbox first started going online, right? I think Mortal Kombat like Deception has rooms. Armageddon has rooms. Like these games in the 3D era have online rooms. And here we are in 2023 when the game came out, now 2025, and there are no rooms in Mortal Kombat 1. That is ridiculous. That's something that I've been talking about for since the game came out. Like, what is going on where they don't have rooms yet? Let's just say they include rooms, right? Yeah, okay, that's awesome that they included rooms, but why wasn't it a feature from the beginning when nowadays in modern fighting games that's like a standard feature? Same thing with queuing up when you're in training mode for an online match. Like, it's absolutely insane. Makes no sense to me. Oh man, I could go talking about rooms and that stuff for days, but so that's a dislike on my end. Another one of my likes for MK1 are the cameos. I know that I'm going to be in the minority here because, to be honest, I feel like cameos was the biggest reason why this game didn't catch on at the beginning. And I'm talking about beta form and, before it came out. Because even when it came out, it wasn't as popular as MK11 or MKX. And I think the biggest reason was because people tried out the cameo system in the beta and they just didn't like it. I feel like a lot of Mortal Kombat fans want that 1v1 action, which I totally understand. Cameo pretty much having like an assist. It takes a completely different skill set to use your cameo the right way, use it in a combo the right way, use it as a defensive mechanic the right way. If you didn't grow up playing a Marvel vs. Capcom, MVC1, MVC2, all these like assist-based fighting games, you're not going to be good with the cameo system unless you put in the work. But a lot of times, if someone doesn't have the experience of playing those games, they're not going to want to put in the work because they're like, man, why the hell am I like doing, or why is my opponent doing something that's unsafe? And then they have this cameo that comes out and saves their ass, right? But that's the thing about assist-based fighting games. That's the whole point of the assist. It's supposed to watch your back whenever you do something unsafe, help you with combos, etc. But before the game came out and it got a bad rep because of all the microtransactions and the incomplete product, I feel like the cameo system I feel like the cameo system really, really hurt the game. If this game would have came out with the same problems that it had with all the microtransactions, all the negativity it got, but it was a 1v1 Mortal Kombat game, it would have had more support as far as like some fan base. But I think it lost a lot of like core fan base that only liked the 1v1 fighting game. And they didn't want to, adapt to the cameo system. I think this is actually one of my biggest likes, but I'm just explaining to you guys why I think cameos really hurt this game. I already explained it. But for me personally, having the option to do like crazy tag team combos, not really like tag team, I guess just assist combos, and your cameo fighter sort of watching your back when you do something unsafe, having this be a assist-based fighting game was something that was definitely unexpected, but was a really cool change for a single Mortal Kombat game. I don't think that cameos will ever return. I don't think they'll ever return. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like this was supposed to be an Injustice 3 game because I feel like the cameo system would work out so much better for like an Injustice game. Because Injustice game, they have, I feel like they have more leeway to test out some of these things that a lot of the core Mortal Kombat fan base is not going to like enjoy, right? If this would have been Injustice 3 with cameos, I feel like a lot of people would have given it more of a chance and they would have liked it a lot more than having it be in a Mortal Kombat game. But yeah, I don't think cameos will ever return. I actually don't want them to return because I want more people to enjoy the game. But for MK1, I feel like this is definitely one of my biggest likes about the game. I absolutely love the cameo system. Now, my biggest dislike about the cameo system is that there's so many summon assists, meaning that your character has to pose for your assist to come out. I feel like a lot of the characters should have ambush assists because they're so much more fun. Ambush assists, for example, like Janet Cage, right? You do a specific combo, you shoot your opponent up in the air. She comes out without you having to pose. She helps you out with the combo. Or Tremor, right? You call him up. You use two bars of meter to do the full cameo like ambush assist, but you could do that and he helps you out with keeping you safe, giving you a mix-up, comboing something that normally would never be able to be comboed. For example, just throwing it out there, General Shao's overhead. You do his overhead normally, you bring out Tremor, you do the uppercut, and then you go into your bread and butter. Normally, you cannot combo that with almost any other move in the game, but you could combo it with that, or with Motaro, for example. You could combo it with Motaro. But I feel like ambush assist is the way they should have gone with this game, for sure. I feel like they should have just, this game is already open-ended. They should have just let the game rock and have like just every assist be like an ambush assist. It would have made things a lot more fun, but they can't change that now. That's something that they should have done from the beginning and have people get used to it, because if they make every assist a summon assist nowadays, it would be like ridiculous. But it's something that I feel like should have been in the game from the beginning. So one of my dislikes is the fact that there's so many summon assists, because it just limits your character. Let me see, what else do I have here? Oh, last but not least, all right, this video has gone on way too long already, but my another like that I have in this game are skins. Skins are really sick. I feel like they did a really good job with the skins in this game for specific characters. Now, don't get me wrong, not every character is treated equally here. Sub-Zero, Scorpion, a few other handful of characters, Melina, Katana. Some of these characters get like so much love with customization and skins, and then other characters like poor Baraka gets no skins. But I feel like the skins that characters have are really cool. The fact that we got a 95 Mortal Kombat movie skin for all the ninjas, we got the new Mortal Kombat 2 movie skins for 5 characters. We have Jean-Claude Van Damme as a premier skin. The skins in this game are super sick, but it's not, the love isn't equally shared because there's a lot of characters that don't have a lot of skins, like poor Baraka. But I think they did a really good job with the skins. I really, really like the skins in this game. But on the contrary, a dislike that I have is the lack of customization. Now imagine these skins, but you actually have more options to customize the gear that you have, like you had in MK11. Now we're talking, right? That would have made a whole like complete customization thing with like beautiful skins, but then you could also customize different parts of those skins like you could in MK11. Then we would have had something more complete. But it's not only the customization for characters, it's also like the customization for intros, the customization for outros. There was so much you could customize in MK11, and with this game, it was just a huge, huge downgrade in variety of customization. I mean, every character only has 2 intros and 1 outro. Compared to Mortal Kombat 11, the minimum that each character would have is 4 intros and 4 outros. I know it's simple, right? But just seeing a little bit of a difference in your intro or outro just gives you a little bit extra variety, as you know, your eyes are going to be looking at this game for 2+ years. I feel like customizing intros and outros was something that that was really good. You know, for me as a content creator, I need those extra intros and outros for thumbnails. It's so limited in this game. I have to like go out looking for, I had to use costumes from like other games like MKX, MK11 to do intro or to do thumbnails sometimes. But just in general, I like seeing different intros and outros for characters. It just adds to the customization that you do have. So yeah, that's a dislike for me. Skins are like, lack of customization is a dislike. So just to review again, gameplay, combo potential, my biggest like in this game, biggest dislike in this game, story and invasions. Another like that I have is a roster. Dislike on that is no rooms, no queue up for online matches in training mode. Another like is cameos. Another dislike is too many summon cameo attacks. There should be more ambush cameo attacks, in my opinion, to open up the game even more. Another one of my likes is skins, and another one of my dislikes is the lack of customization. So that about does it, ladies and gentlemen. This was requested by someone in the comments section because this is pretty much the end of Mortal Kombat 1. The end of its life cycle. By the way, I just want to mention this. There's always like a 6 to 8 month period between the announcement, or in this case, like the reveal of the complete edition of the game, definitive edition. But there's always like 6 to 8 months between when that comes out and when the new game gets announced. I still think this game is going to get announced at the end of the year during the Game Awards and then released in April. I've been saying that for months and months and months now. So we're still going to be playing MK1 for a long time, and I have no problem with that because I still have a ton of fun on this game whenever I do play it. So that's going to be the end of today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.